universe has provided this to me. I am not going to react to it, but I'm going to respond to it in a positive way. Remembering that in every adversity are the seeds of a greater benefit. This is the universe not doing things to us, but doing things for us.
This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better.
The question is, why do bad things happen to good people? And why, if somebody is teaching the law of attraction, your wish is your command, how to manifest your desires, how do bad things happen to those people? How do bad things happen to enlightened, self-realized, perfected spiritual masters? Gandhi, self-realized, peace, love, I am vegetarian, no harm will I do to any living sentient being. No. Ant, do not step on ant. Rat in house. Oh, it's okay. Rat in house. Do not hurt rat. Sentient being. The guy loved everybody, didn't hurt a fly, and he gets beaten repeatedly. He gets put in jail repeatedly, and then he gets shot and killed. Well, if he is tapped into the universe, how did he attract all that crap into his life? If you look throughout history, whatever religion you partake in, look at your saints. St. Paul, who wrote half of the 2/3 of the New Testament, he had a pretty rough life. So here is a saint. I mean, a saint. A saint. And he's thrown in prison, he's beaten, and he's crucified. St. Peter, crucified. I mean, these guys, well, how does the law of attraction work? And then you look at guys who teach a course, Your Wish is Your Command, and get thrown in prison for 8.5 years when he did nothing wrong. That's me. Held in contempt of court and thrown in prison. How do bad things like that happen to good people who know how to manifest? Couldn't I just manifest not being thrown in prison? Couldn't I have manifested not going to prison or getting out of prison or winning my appeal? How come I couldn't use the law of attraction to manifest those things? So this is an interesting question. You can go through a litany of examples of very good people that are practicing and using the law of attraction, and they go bankrupt, or their marriage falls apart, or they get into a car crash. How did these things happen? You misunderstand something very significant. You look at someone else and their circumstances, their condition, what happens to them, and you say, that's bad. How do you know it's bad? How do you know that that person isn't creating that purposely? Number one, what you think is bad in another person's life may be their greatest blessing. And it's exactly what they've created. Kevin, don't tell me that. You're telling me that you wanted to go to prison? You're telling me that that guy wanted to get into a car crash and lose both of his legs? You're telling me you wanted that guy to have a heart attack? You're telling me you wanted that marriage to break up and go through a divorce and so forth? We don't manifest specific things. We manifest ideal scenes, end phenomena. The universe gives us the how. It gives us the specific things in order for us to get there. There's a story that I shared in the Your Wish is Your Command program about the man in China. And this man in China had a son that he loved, and he wanted the son to be happy and so forth. And the son had a horse. He loved the horse. And this was the only horse that the family in China had. They were very poor. And so to have a horse was a big thing. It was almost a source of affluence and wealth, one horse. One day, the horse ran away. The son forgot to lock up the corral. And the horse ran away. And the father looked at the son, and the son was, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mess up the corral. This hurts the family. We lost our only horse. How are we gonna plow the fields now? Because the horse pulled the plow, and what are we gonna do? We could starve without that horse. That horse was our life. It was our subsistence. And the father says, don't worry. The son said, but this is a bad thing. And the father said, bad? Maybe, maybe not. The next day, the horse came back with 10 other wild horses. Gabish, that means understand. Capisco, I understand. Capisce, you understand. Italiano. Understand? Verstehen Sie? Do you understand? But the story goes on. The son decided to break one of these wild horses, so he gets on the horse to try to break the wild horse. And the wild horse throws the son, and the son falls and breaks his leg. Which is a big thing back then in ancient times, is you can't just go to the hospital and get it set. I mean, the kid could die. The man's friends and relatives came and said, oh, your son broke his leg. That's so bad. And the man said, bad? Maybe, maybe not. The next day, the army came into the village to take all the young men and conscript them into the army and take them off to war where they were almost assuredly going to die. But they couldn't take this boy because he had a broken leg. Verstehen Sie? Understand? Capisce? Understand? The story goes on and on and on. So what you think is bad in another person's life is not necessarily bad. So there's two reasons why what you think is a bad thing happens to a good person. Number one, what you think is bad is not necessarily bad. It is the best thing in the longer term. I'll give you another story. I had a friend of mine came to me. He had 5 beautiful daughters, and he said, I want to quit smoking. I've tried everything. I can't quit. I know you're a magician with energy. Can you help me? And I looked at his field and I said, sure, let's work on setting your objective for quitting smoking. And rather than saying quitting smoking, let's say you want to live a healthy, long life. That's the end result, right? If you quit, you're going to have more energy. So write down all the benefits that you think you would achieve if you were smoke-free. I'm going to live longer. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to be calmer. And he listed all these wonderful benefits. My clothes are going to smell better. See, he always started off saying, my clothes are going to stink. No, your clothes aren't going to stink. Your clothes are going to smell better. So you start going through all these things of all the benefits. And he wrote them all down. By the way, we're having a major storm out there, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, if you can hear the rain, we're gonna float away here in a minute, right? That's rain. Okay, massive rain. So I had him write down all these things, and I worked on his field, and I got him into alignment. See yourself being smoke-free. Imagine your life being smoke-free. And he dialed this in. This put out into the universe this incredible attractor field, magnetic power to attract into his life being able to be smoke-free. About a week later, I notice he doesn't show up to the office. And he's an early riser. He's always the first guy in the office. He's not there. All day long, he's not there. I said, call the house. Nobody's answering the house. Now we're a little worried. What's happening? We finally got a hold of his wife, and she said he had a massive heart attack. He's in the ICU, emergency room in intensive care. I immediately rushed to the hospital, and they said, well, you can't see him. He's in intensive care. It's not too sure. So I kept calling, when can I see him? When can I see him? About 2 days later, he's out of ICU, he's stable. You can see him now. So I came in, talked to him, and how you feeling, He says, well, I've been better and I've been worse. I don't remember when I've been worse, but I'm sure I have been. He said, but I'll tell you, I appreciate you coming and so forth. Okay. Get well, get better. So about a week, maybe 10 days later, he comes back to work. Comes into the office. He says, Kevin, that law of attraction thing actually works. I says, what do you mean? He said, well, I've tried everything to quit smoking. Because even after we did that little session, I went home and matter of fact, I left your office, went outside and smoked. And I've been smoking ever since. So your law of attraction thing, I really doubted because it didn't stop me from smoking. I was smoking as much as ever before. And then I had this massive heart attack. So clearly I couldn't smoke when I was in the ICU, and I couldn't smoke in the hospital. And when I went home, I just didn't even have the lung capacity to smoke. He said, but I'll tell you something, I am now smoke-free. I said, why? He says, the doctor came to me before I left, and he said, you have 5 young girls. Do you want to see them graduate high school? I said, well, of course. He goes, if you continue to smoking, I guarantee you will not see them graduate high school. He says, Kevin, man, that hit me so hard. It hit me right in the heart. Right then and there, I knew I'm smoke-free. Kevin, it's no willpower, man. I look at those girls. I have those pictures of the girls on my desk. I don't even think of smoking. So here's the point. A bad thing, you would look at it, a bad thing happened. He had a massive heart attack. No, my friends, it wasn't a bad thing. It was a very, very good thing. You don't know what he's asking for in life. You see somebody have a heart attack, you see somebody get into an accident, and you think, there's no way they could want that. Well, he didn't want to have a heart attack, but it was the only way, the universe knows, it was the only way in order for him to get what he really wanted, which was being smoke-free. In my particular case, before I went away, and this goes back 30 years, 40 years, 50 years almost, when I made the decision not to go on a spiritual path and live in a monastery, because I had gone into the oneness, I decided to take a different route, keep my spiritual life secret, put on a facade, if you will. And somebody asked me on Saturday's Zoom call, which I have for partners in the fan club only. It's exclusive to partners. It's free to partners. So if you're not a partner in the Kevin Trudeau fan club, you should consider becoming one. You get a monthly free Zoom call. And somebody asked me, Kevin, we've noticed that your eyes used to be very, very dark brown. Now they're blue or hazel or green, green, green. I said, yeah, I've taken off the veil. I've gotten rid of my invisibility cloak about the spiritual being that I have always been, but I have not revealed. Now it's time to do that. On my path, I decided to take the businessman route and put on that costume and be Kevin Trudeau businessman, marketing genius, guru, insider, that type of business, business guru, not spiritual guru. Businessman, marketing genius, international traveler, that type of guy. Okay, make a lot of money, billions of dollars, Rolls Royces, Ferraris, mansions around the world, butlers and all that stuff. That was the route I took. Because a lot of people think that's what life's all about. And if I had attained that, then people would say, I want to know what he knows. Well, if people want to know what I know about that, now I can tell them, let me tell you the real importance in life, which is the spiritual awakening within. Make sense? So I decided to take that route. And in doing so, I created businesses with thousands of employees around the world. And there was a time when I said to the universe, it's time for me to now follow 100% my mission. It's now time to step out and effectively engage the ministry that I'm destined to and was always destined to. Now it's the time. But I have all these things. I got all these companies and businesses. And I said, my ideal scene is that all of these are gone and I have a clean slate that I can start 100% fresh. That would be my ideal scene. I said, I also need some rest and I need to take some time off and rest, recharge the batteries, and I need to get quiet and go into the field so I can put together the Science of Personal Mastery course, all the training that I got in the Brotherhood, the most systematic step-by-step program to bring people to spiritual awakening and enlightenment and self-realization. Man, how is that going to happen with everything I got going? Well, I don't need to worry about the how. Universe, you figure it out. They figured it out. The universe came up with a pretty good plan. I'm going to have the court hold you in contempt of court, take away everything you own, and throw you in a federal prison camp for 8 years. And when this happened, I laughed because I thought it actually is the perfect scenario. It's a gift. I would have never written that this is what I wanted, but this is the perfect method and the route so I can get exactly what I desire. So this is why what you think is a bad thing, for me, was never a bad thing. It was a blessing. It was a gift. It was the perfect thing. I was thankful and grateful the entire time for this amazing gift. And I gave the gift back to you by producing the Science of Personal Mastery course, which is available free to Global Information Network members, and doing the show, writing new books, starting the Kevin Trudeau fan club. Well, I didn't start that. Tanya and Rahelios did. And now William and Matt run it. Doing the partner program, answering questions, and really focusing on the Global Information Network. I got exactly what I asked for, and I could not be happier. The legal thing is just, it's the road. It's the road to Hana. I went to Hawaii years ago with my good friend, Dr. Alex Duarte, and Ed Beckley. Ed Beckley was one of the pioneers in the TV infomercial business. He had a program called The Millionaire Maker, How to Buy Real Estate with No Money Down. And Ed had this beautiful ranch kind of in the middle of nowhere near Hana in Hawaii. He said, you need to come in and spend a couple weeks in Hana. You and Alex. I'll take you to the 7 sacred pools. This is when you could actually swim in them. We'll do a whole bunch of great things. It'll be spectacular. I mean, it's paradise, man. I said, okay, good. I flew into the airport. I'll pick you up. And I know Ed, he's rich. He's got tons of money, so I'm expecting the Rolls Royce to pick me up or something, or a limousine or something. And Ed's there dressed like I've never seen Ed, Hawaiian style, sandals, shorts that I don't know when they were washed last. He's got a deep tan and this incredibly wrinkled, it looked like 20-year-old shirt. I mean, he looked like a poor surf bum that hadn't bathed in a while. Hair's all crazy, and he's like, hey. I go, man. You know, and I'm dressed up like a cool Hawaiian. I got nice slacks on, nice shoes, nice crisp ironed Hawaiian shirt, fedora. You know, I look at nice sunglasses. You know, I'm looking good, right? So I said to Ed, I said, all right, man. So he get my bag, and he's driving a very old Volkswagen Thing. Now, if you don't know what a Volkswagen Thing is, it is a vehicle that's like a Jeep, but drives 10 times worse. The doors come off, there's no roof, it's wide open, and this is the boiling sun of Hawaii. And he's got this old off-road type of vehicle called the Volkswagen Thing. I look at that and I'm going, oh, there it is, yeah. I'm looking at this going, oh God. I go, how far a drive is it? And he goes, it's 3 hours. Maybe it was longer, but it was at least 3 hours. I go, 3 hours? God. But I'm thinking, no problem. We'll stop along the way. I'll have, some coconut juice, some type of cocktail with a little umbrella in it. Maybe get some fresh mango, have a nice something to eat along the way, stop a couple times if it's a long drive, do some sightseeing along the way. No problem. I'm thinking it's going to be a gorgeous drive. So we start, and then it's almost like he went off-road. And after about an hour, the road is like a dirt road. And I said, Ed, what's going on? He goes, well, this is the only road to Hana. And it's the only road to paradise. And this was boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. How many hours are we going to be doing this? While the sun is blazing down. Well, we finally got to Hana. We finally got to his paradise, and it was paradise. And it was worth the bumpy road. Many times in life, my friends, there's only one road to paradise. There's only one road to Hana, and it's going to be bumpy. It's not a bad thing. It puts everything in perspective. It allows you to release and let go. Stop hanging on tight. Stop needing and wanting control. And release. Allow the universe to give you all the blessings. So this is why good things happen. Ultimately, even though it may appear bad initially. And there's a second reason, and that is karma. Sometimes you have karma that you have to burn off, and when something happens that appears to be bad or challenging, or appears to be adversity, do you respond or do you react? Most people react and resist. You're not burning off your karma, my friends. If something that happens to you that you don't want to happen, if something happens to you where you get triggered, you get stimulated, where you have an uncontrollable and irrational emotion, and it happens to all of us, unless you let that through and let that burn off, it'll continue. You'll have more and more situations, events, circumstances, conditions, and people trigger you and stimulate you and key things in, giving you uncontrollable, irrational emotions and more, quote, bad things that you don't want to happen. The only way to do that is to allow it to pass through you. You have to acknowledge how you're feeling. Don't deny it. Don't reframe it. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge, I am feeling this way. Acknowledge that you have an uncontrollable, irrational emotion. Acknowledge that something's keyed and something's activated, something's stimulated, that one of your buttons have been pushed, that you've been triggered. Acknowledge that I don't want this. I wish this wasn't happening. Acknowledge, don't deny. But number two, then welcome it. Don't resist it. What you resist will persist. You have to welcome it and say, the universe has provided this to me. I am not going to react to it, but I'm going to respond to it in a positive way. Remembering that in every adversity are the seeds of a greater benefit. This is the universe not doing things to us, but doing things for us. The universe does not do things to you. It does things for you. But most of you are so asleep and in a trance, you don't realize it. So take advantage of that. So that is why Bad things appear to happen to good people. Or a better way of saying it is that is why apparently what things appear to be bad happen to good people. There's more. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Next year, I'll be having a book out on that whole subject, which gets into great detail, which will help you in every aspect of your life. Hi, I'm Kevin Trudeau. This is everything they don't want you to know about to improve the quality of your life. Broadcasting every Monday and Wednesday, 2 days a week now. Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock Chicago time. Make sure you tune in and subscribe to the channel and share these shows with everyone you know.